Welcome back to the association. We are live post-game as the Spurs even up the Western Conference Finals, 2 games apiece against the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. The series shifts back to Oklahoma City for Game 5. I'm Lauren Rosen, bringing you everything you need to know post-game here on NBA TV. He's 10-year NBA veteran George Niang. And George, you and I both picked the Spurs tonight. What made you pick them, and then what went right away?
I just think with Game 4 with, everything that San Antonio's been through this year, listen, they're a 62-win team. They weren't just going to lay over and let, momentum carry in Oklahoma City's favor. And you look at how the game started, it seemed like Isaiah Hartenstein was the only answer that Oklahoma City had. And then every time, the Spurs would get a stop, it was leading to Wembanyama dunks or transition threes. And it was honestly a masterclass from the Spurs on the defensive end, right? Anytime you can get a team to shoot under 35% from the field, I like your chances of winning that game. And that's exactly what the Spurs did. They really locked in and dialed into their defense, and that's what won them this game.
Victor Wembanyama was dialed in. He was locked in on both ends of the floor. When this team is at its best, he is obviously also at his best. What was working for him so well? Wemby, you see the stats there at the bottom. 22 points in the first half alone. A pretty iconic first half buzzer beater. Finishes with 33 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. He was a plus 29 in 31 minutes of play. George, what did you see in those 31 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, look at that. You have your 7'4" center that protects the rim, defensive player of the year, making half-court three-pointers. You look at someone that's, people try and make fun of his quirks of that he goes and sees monks or, does different things. But he's ultimately one of the most locked-in players I've ever seen, right? The fact that he can do it from all different angles, his effort, his tenacity, look how hard he's running the floor there, and he's not even getting the ball. When you can get your best player to do those things, everyone else falls in line. And then you see here his ability to, have people make tough shots at the rim. He's just a one-of-one character, and the Spurs are extremely lucky to have him. The Spurs are going to be a tough team to stop for years to come with this guy leading them.
And George, at this point in the series, of course, everyone played super heavy minutes in Game 1 that went to double overtime. The Spurs had to play heavy minutes in Games 2 and 3 as well. So to have the opportunity now, and of course, both teams saw their stars resting in the fourth quarter tonight, but to get some rest on these Spurs legs ahead of Game 5, as a player, what happens now? You're 4 games in, we're all tied up, it's best of 3 now. What do you do as you go back to the drawing board ahead of Game 5?
Yeah, I think, if you're Oklahoma City, you know that you went and got home court advantage back. So you're going back and being like, okay, now we're in a 3-game series. We have 2 of those games at home. Let's go out and take care of home court Game 5. And you're at a point where you're Oklahoma City. We're going to be coming guns blazing, coming out Game 5. And then San Antonio, you can't be happy with having a great, not only moral victory, but, limiting Oklahoma City to under 100 points. You can't be happy with that because now you have to work or play even harder in Oklahoma City to get a win on the road, because you have to steal one on the road to win this series.
We've talked about him already here tonight. He has been our top story, and now he's our association player of the game, Victor Wembanyama. Another look at his final stat line: 33 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, plus 29 in 31 minutes of play. George, you talked about his intangibles, the time he spends training with monks, reading, playing chess, working on his skills as a leader on and off the floor to arrive where he is now. And mind you, his first deep playoff run. How do you put into words what we're watching on a night-to-night basis, George?
Yeah, I mean, you're watching a guy that is going to be at the helm of this league, for a while. To be at his size and his skill set and the tenacity that he plays with, that's very rare. You're not going to find that. So we should enjoy what we're seeing here, because you're not going to find too many that are like this. And I think his professionalism kind of wears off on the rest of the team, because everybody's dialed in and kind of knows their role and where they need to be. And it's amazing, because you're seeing the Thunder, who have succeeded with culture and role play, And now you have the San Antonio Spurs who are kind of falling in that same line and giving them everything that they can handle.
Wemby's teammates leaping into his arms, leaping to the rim. What do you make of the chemistry now that's developed? It's such a young group, and I think a lot of people, George, thought that maybe this was the year before the year for San Antonio. But could this be perhaps the year?
You know, it's making out to be. You know, after tonight, I would be, you know, shocked if it isn't, right. You know, OKC is a great team, but the way the Spurs are playing and clicking on all cylinders right now after tonight's game, you just saw the energy and passion that they played with. Yes, it's one game, but you can definitely see the momentum kind of, you know, change. Whenever you can hold the team under 100 points, you know, you're going to make them go back to the drawing board and kind of figure out what they need to change to beat you. And the Spurs finally defended a full 4 quarters or 3.5, whichever the starters were allowed to play. And OKC is going to have their work cut out for them because they're going to need to score the ball and take and make better shots going into Game 5.
The San Antonio defense holding OKC to under 100, as you said, George, in a major way. Final score 103-82 as the series shifts back to Oklahoma City. And to be fair to the defending champions, they were without 2 of their top 4 scorers tonight in Game 4. We will talk more about Oklahoma City when we come back. We are just getting started here on the Association on NBA TV and the NBA app, and we will be right back. Welcome back to the Association here on NBA TV and the NBA app. He's George Niang. I'm Lauren Rosen, recapping a big Game 4 victory for the San Antonio Spurs. They went into this one with one mission: protect home court. Mitch Johnson, their head coach, asked them to attack the details. They did so indeed. And Johnson is addressing reporters at the podium now.
Coach, I think this team was top 10 in deflections during the regular season, but how important is it for you guys to just have active hands everywhere, especially knowing how good this Thunder team is?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I think, again, anytime we can turn defense into offense, that's turnovers, that's rebounding, that's, you know, whatever the aspect may be, that's when we're at our best. We can get out and run and play in space and momentum and share the ball. And we did that tonight, and the activity was great. And we're going to continue to need to get better at it as this series moves on.
Coach, your thoughts on the pace that you guys had offensively, and within that, the not being so much in a hurry that you talked about after Game 3, kind of letting things settle in and letting things happen naturally as well.
Yeah, it's a conflicting idea at times, but it's the balance that you got to try to strive for in terms of pace and tempo. Doesn't necessarily mean you need to take a quick shot or be in a rush, but when we get to play fast in terms of the ball moving from one end to the other end, then we get our best chance of playing against unorganized defenses and take advantage of mismatches, and our guys' individual talent gets to be at its best with that.
Coach, can you talk about the two-way impact of Devin Vassell tonight and his growth from a role where he was more of a scorer before Victor Wembanyama, Stephen Castle, and the guys came around, to today, like a more complete role in the team?
He's been phenomenal. He may be our most consistent player if you took away any stats and just watched us play. Just his floor and ceiling may be the least margin. And it's just been, personally for me, really fun to observe him, because when we first drafted him, he was kind of a, not to be lazy, but a 3-and-D generalization is kind of the bucket he was in. And he's developed into a heck of a scorer in this league. And at times when you're a young player, it's hard to increase your offensive load and still continue to put that same energy into the defense. And I think he probably went away from it a little bit. And now to see him have the two-way impact that you speak of is very impactful for our team and very rewarding for somebody that's been with him since his rookie year.
Mitch, on your right, when Victor was sitting there after last game, he said that we're going to find out what we're made of in Game 4. And then tonight, he just showed a level of persistence he hadn't quite shown before, and he took so many shots, obviously, in the first half, but he never stopped coming and never stopped trying to kind of grind the game away. Just what did you see out of him with the motor that he played with tonight?
Yeah, I saw a lot.